The Matrix. Hey everybody, I was just going to wrap up chapter 7 for us here. I had answered a few questions. And if you need more on that chapter 7 deal, I'd encourage the question asking, especially the adultery thing. That's a long discussion, so we can talk about that more later. Anyway, chapter 7, he gets back to the law towards the end of chapter 7 and really deals with this issue of, is it something that is thrown out and now we should be just spiritual? And I believe that Paul, and I think it's pretty clear here, does not hold that point of view. He's not throwing out the law. He's in fact reinforcing it, but he's saying there's just really these two aspects here. Let me read the last few verses. So I find this law at work. When I want to do good, evil is right there with me. For in my inner being I delight in God's law, but I see rather law at work in the members of my body, waging war against the law of my mind and making me a prisoner of the law of sin at work within my members. What a wretched man I am! Who will rescue me from this body of death? Thanks be to God through Jesus Christ our Lord. So then I myself in my mind am a slave to God's law, but in the sinful nature a slave to the law of sin. So we see kind of there you have these two things going on. He feels like he's a slave to the law in his mind, but then when he realizes how important the law is in helping him keep from being sinful, as he begins to look at what he is and what he desires and what he goes after. It's all sin is what he's looking to go after, and it really is the same with us. What we want, what we enjoy, where we spend most of our time is in things of sin, not in the things of righteousness or in the law. So that's something to think about, and we really see Paul is not here throwing out the law necessarily, but he is pointing to the importance of it and that it makes us conscious, makes us aware of the sin in our lives. And that's why I think Christianity so often is very much considered to be this almost, people think, oppressive thing, you know, this thing that is putting limits on my freedom. But it really isn't, because as we pursue sin, our freedom actually is stripped away from us. And law is actually helping us to stay on the right path of righteousness, the place where we need to be. So it's an interesting thing about it. We'll keep reading. The next chapter is chapter 8, and that'll be fun.